Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Mornings with Loretta. And my guest today, he is from the UK, so of course he knows exactly how to pronounce my name. I can't wait for you all to meet him. But let me just give you a little spiel about this, right? So he is the film director for this ESPN 30 for 30 documentary, the Berlusconi story. I'm so intrigued. First of all, I love Italy, and I love entrepreneurship. I love everything about this sport, which we call soccer, they call football. So let me just bring on Sam Blair. I'm telling you, this film is going to go all the way to the top. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Hi, Loretta. So yeah, good. Thanks. How are you?
So I already know where I'm going to be. Hopefully, the movie is going to be here in my area on the 26th of September. But tell me about it. What was your fascination about this story that you had? You said I will have to do a documentary about Silvio Berlusconi.
Well, I've made quite a few sports documentaries over the years, and I think sport is interesting because it allows you to look at the world. Berlusconi has this remarkable story where he started out as an entrepreneur, as you say. He then bought AC Milan, who one of the biggest clubs, soccer clubs in Italy, but who, when he bought them, were really struggling. And he transformed them on the pitch, off the pitch. But I think where it becomes really remarkable is when that collided with politics. Berlusconi, out of nowhere in the mid-90s, really used his success as the owner of AC Milan to step into politics in a way that had never been done before. It's certainly in Italy and Europe, we weren't used to people from outside politics stepping in. And within 3 months, he started a political party and took power. And a lot of the way he took power was to use sport, soccer, the success he had built, and to say, what I've done for AC Milan, I can do for Italy. And I think that's an amazing story to tell.
I totally agree. I thought I could just watch it in one sitting and then just, be ready. But I'm going to tell you, I could not just sit and watch it and rush to watch it. So I said, I'm going to watch the part one and then go back and watch it. I am so intrigued on so many levels. So as a filmmaker, though, as a director, how did you know when to highlight his charisma and then when to also not be passive and say, I got to show the controversy of this he was a icon, right? But again, it does not take away from his legacy, but it's inclusive of it. So how were you able to pick and choose what you were going to show in the documentary?
Well, yeah, I think that's what makes people interesting is their contradictions. He wasn't just one thing. He was incredibly charismatic and successful, and particularly in soccer, he creates incredible, entertaining football team. You just couldn't resist watching them. But then the step into politics is problematic. It raises lots of questions, and it's not about taking one side. It's about looking at the complexity of that, I think. And we're interested in complex, contradictory people who surprise us, people who shock us. And he's certainly all those things. As a storyteller, you've got to bring those things together rather than choose one of them.
And I also love that you didn't, the author of the story too, and then you as the director, you didn't have to make up stuff. The story in of itself is so intriguing. I'm fascinated because they were winners. They were AC Milan was top tier when it comes to soccer, and their championships tell the whole story. So when you were doing the documentary, or how did that even happen? Because I know you're known for doing these kind of documentaries. Sports meets intrigue, meets entrepreneurship, meets charisma, meets controversy. So what was it about this story when it was pitched to you? Or did you say, hey, I want to be the director?
Well, yeah, I think, like you say, there's extraordinary story beats in it. When you're looking at a story, you think, where am I aiming at? And you're looking for the highs and the lows and the peak moments. And there was just this proliferation of them, really. I always want to be surprised by a story. The kind of twists and turns that you're not expecting, and it was all there. He's one of the most controversial, talked about politicians in modern Europe for a reason. It was when the story played out, people had their kind of mouths open, couldn't believe what was happening. So it makes my job a lot easier when my job is just to recount that, and I guess for an audience who doesn't know the story, to lead us through that.
And when I say you do an incredible job of it, I feel like how you put it together, I want more, even though I haven't finished it yet. I want more of this story. And we could learn a lot as people, as entrepreneurs too. So what does his rise and reign reflect back to us about our own societies and the leaders we choose to follow? I think we like winners, and then we like people who have tenacity too. And there is not a person among us who does not have, challenges, trials, tests, bad decisions. So what is it about us who, I'm going to just go with the charismatic part of Loretta instead of the things that she doesn't do well?
Right. So, I mean, that's such a good question. And it's one of the main questions through the series, I think, is, did his success as a businessman, his charisma, and particularly his success as a sports owner, does that equal following him, choosing him as a leader of a country? In the mid-90s, that was really the narrative, was that he could apply the success he'd had in business and in soccer to Italy. Now, the results were a lot more complicated than that would at first seem, but I suppose we're so seduced by that success, by power, and I think it's something we should really consider when we're choosing our political leaders.
I totally agree with you on that. It's just something in us that, and the thing, one of the other things that fascinates the team, like you said, they were not like, he didn't just say, I want to go and get the best team in soccer in the world and make it happen. He chose a team that was struggling and then made it happen consistently year after year after year. So, and like I said, this film will be in theaters across the US on September 26th. So what do you want the takeaway for us to be as we flood into theaters to see this documentary?
Yeah, I think it's thinking about that, the emotion that sport brings out in us, and like you say, the way in which we think winning is such a strong narrative in the world. But I think it's too simplistic, personally, and I think it's something to consider. Is we can't expect to win all the time. So how should we approach the leaders that we choose? I think we need to be careful of the emotional intensity that this winning narrative can bring up in us.
I agree. And I wish we had more conversations about how to be a gracious winner or how to be a gracious loser. Because I replace the word loser with learning. So I'm learning. Even in winning, I should be learning something, right, for the next one. So if you had to finish this sentence, because I could continue to talk with you forever, but I know I got to let you go. So what would you say? Silvio Berlusconi was condemned to win because? Why was he? And I love the title, Condemned to Win.
Well, because I think he needed to keep staying a winner. The moment he started appearing to lose, it became an incredible problem. It became a problem for him, because he had announced to Italy, I am a winner and I will help you to win. And like you say, that I agree with you about learning. If you've just got to keep winning, you're missing something.
That's true. You're missing a lot. And there's something in you you're not accepting and you're not loving yourself enough, right? But I understand you want to win because we've been raised and society taught us those are the best people who win. And if you're not winning, then you are a loser, which I think that word needs to be redefined for a lot of us, because losing means at least you tried, right? You got out there and hopefully you did your best. Well, Sam, I told you I could talk to you all day, but I know I can't. So any closing remarks you want to make? And I'm going to go and finish that documentary. I cannot wait.
Well, I'd love to know what you think when you've seen the full thing. The show comes out tomorrow night as we're speaking, on ESPN2. That's at 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Central Time, and it's going to be streaming on ESPN, the ESPN app. So that's where people can find it. And yeah, I'm really hope it starts a conversation.
I'm sure it's definitely going to start a conversation. It's going to be on ESPN on September 16th. And when I say I'm going to see it, I'm going in my movie room to see it. And hopefully I can have it watched within the next week. But I don't know, because I don't want to rush it. I don't want to rush it. I will be tuning in to ESPN, but I know I need more time. So Sam, thank you for the incredible work that you produced. Thank you for all the things that you've done. I can't wait until the next thing when you come back on and tell me about it. Have a good day.
You too, Loretta. Nice talking.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
So Sam has to go. I want you to go ahead and research him, because when I say he has done incredible work, I'm not just saying that because he was on. You know, I have fabulous guests on. They're going on their satellite tour. So that means they're going on, you know, the Today Show, Good Morning America, all the places, right? So they're already vetted, but I still do my own work because I want to be, you know, authentically intrigued by their work. And I want to be able to talk about it from an informed perspective. So Sam has produced some amazing documentaries about sports and sports figures. And then there is always controversy. I don't care how much you love a person. There's somebody that thinks they're doing or saying something that's controversial. And I think it's such a time as this kind of documentary, because it's like the winners have the power. They have the power, and no matter our fascination by them and the controversy around them, there is still some fine lines that we need to choose, you know, who our icons are. But anyway, I love this documentary. It's the Silvio Berlusconi story. It is a true story. This man, you got to watch this documentary. He went from entrepreneur, a media mogul, right? And then he wanted more. So he bought this failing soccer, they call it football, and he turned it around, and he built so much power through that one decision to buy this team in like the 1980s, 1990 season. And he even got into the political arena. He did well. There's the prime minister. So go ahead and check it out. It's called the Berlusconi documentary, Condemned to Win. All right, we have another segment coming up, so don't go anywhere. And like in closing, this is what we're going to say. We're going to say, think positive, dream big dreams, help someone along the way. And guess what? I'll see you soon, beloved, and live like you believe.